Southern California, yeah.
Born and raised our DNA. Laugh and cry to what we say. We hit you with that wordplay.
4053.
What episode are we on? D, they feeling like they be zombies, all dressed in Abercrombie.
SoCal DNA coming in live. 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. COVID got you sitting inside. Why not sip one and free your mind?
Cheap thrills, popping pills, stack cash, spend it fast.
Listen to all of Don's lies as Arjun act like he's surprised.
You know, I'm all thinking like what rhymes with surprise. And I'm like, eating some French fries, riding through the sunrise. We about to evangelize. But don't worry, it's all lies. I don't know, some shit like that.
Well, those are all the words I could think of that rhyme with surprise. So you beat me, my friend. I guess a surprise for this year would be the fact that the NBA is even having an All-Star game. I'll be perfectly honest with you, Don. When this season started and I realized that we weren't going to have a bubble to begin the season, I thought, they're only releasing half the schedule, right? There's no way they're going to have an All-Star game. There's going to be too many game delays. It's too much of a risk to have the best players of the world come together, converge in Atlanta. And who knows, if one player gets sick, will all of them have to quarantine? Will this just knock out all the playoff teams at once? I thought there was too much risk to it. But somehow, some way, Adam Silver and the good people at the NBA,
Good man.
They decided to follow through with this and push for the All-Star game. Now, what do you think, man? Do you think it's worthwhile having the game this year?
I think so. I think, all of your points are very clear and true. But it's a celebration of the NBA. And I think to still have an all-star game, even in this limited capacity, allows us to take a step forward from the Mamba era and get back to some sort of normalcy in the all-star setting. I think there's nothing that really stood out this year that would cause, a particular theme or anything of that sort. And it would suck if a particular city would be kind of outed their opportunity to host the game. Unfortunately, COVID is still running rampant in the U.S. and across the world, actually, right? But to at least have this and to broadcast it, to give people a little brief sense of calm, that everything's okay, especially in the NBA world, and we're all trucking along forward, I think it's worth it. I think they'll have proper protocols to keep the players safe. Granted, they have it all on one day, so the festivities, I'm sure, are quite limited compared to the normal All-Star weekend that we typically have. Not to say that these players aren't going to get together and do their own thing in their own time. That, I think now, officially, most of them are off for a week. They may go and do their own thing, but to each their own. I think they've earned this week break. And you get it? Week break. But, I think Adam Silver did the right call. There's a lot of money at stake for the NBA. A lot of fans are rather, for or against it. And if people want it, and even if it's the silent majority, I say give it to them.
Fair points. One thing that I know for sure, Adam Silver, when he came on the TNT Inside the NBA show, he was asked these questions. And he basically said, the All-Star weekend is pretty much the highest point of fan engagement.
Sure.
That's when millions of fans all across the world tune in. Obviously, they don't attend the game. It's really hard to find tickets to the game. Believe me, I've tried before when they were at Staples Center. I could not find tickets. I didn't even know where to buy them. I couldn't even buy them on StubHub. I don't even know what was going on. But I digress. I think it is entertainment at the end of the day.
Yep.
And I think NBA fans like you and I will definitely tune in, at least to some of it. And,
all of it. It's basically going to be a certain segment of the weekend where it's a straight show. They may have extended commercials, right, to bank in on those ad dollars, which I don't mind. Make your money, NBA. But I don't. It's not like last year where you're like, I can skip this day. I'm not interested in a particular event. Or Rising Stars, who gives a F? Because we don't even give a F about that still, even with what's going on. But the fact that they kind of squeezed and packaged it all together kind of makes it a little bit easier to digest and to get into your schedule. Put a little bit of your time in one day for this particular event rather than having pick and choose your schedule throughout the weekend.
Well, yes and no, right? Because
Yeah.
they usually have these condensed highlights after everything that's really, really quick. Think about it. The 3-point shootout, dunk contest, and even the skills challenge, all of that is like a 10-minute highlight clip. And that's usually what I watch.
It
Like,
is,
that's,
and it's
you know,
great. It's great. But as someone that at least watches the dunk contest in its entirety, the
yeah.
commentary is exciting. It's fun. It's fresh. It's it's funny when they rag on people saying like, "Oh, I gave him a 7. Why did you give him a 7 out of 10?" Just to get that sort of real talk from
Ah,
a professional's fan perspective is refreshing.
I lost faith though. I lost faith in the judges because I think there was one year, I forget if it was last year or the year before,
Sure.
they couldn't really do the math right amongst themselves. And I think it might have been D Wade who was in there,
Yeah.
but they were trying to like specifically hit a certain score for a player,
Yep.
but somebody messed up the math,
Yeah.
and so the count was off.
Yeah.
And for that reason, that player didn't go on.
Yeah, I think that
And
was Wade. Wade didn't get the message, like the telephone message didn't get through to him. So I think it was one of those situations where he took the L.
oh man, oh man, D Wade. But I just gotta say, D Wade, he's been doing the Tuesday show now for TNT, and he's been doing a good job. Like I never really paid attention to him off the court before, Like
Sure.
I knew he was great on the court, and I watched him on the court too. But off the court, man, he is a good analyst, especially for
Sure.
the TNT show, and he has good chemistry with Shaq for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind, and this is me kind of going out on a limb, if one of those guys on the main show eventually retire, like let's say a Kenny, right, or even like a
Sure.
Charles someday, I wouldn't
Mm.
mind, I wouldn't
Mm.
mind if D Wade is more of a regular, not just on the Tuesday show,
Sure.
but maybe on the Thursday show.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah,
He's
and I
good.
think having a steady stream or a steady roster that rotates would also be refreshing. It just hurts a little bit when you say, "Hey, you wouldn't mind Chuck, retiring from it," because I think Chuck's demeanor on the show is everything I expect it to be and everything I want it to be. The small
Absolutely.
snippets, it's
Absolutely, and don't get me wrong. Like, it's not that I want him to retire, but I just
sure.
understand that he's in his mid-50s probably, and Ernie, he's well in his 60s, I believe.
Oh, but Ernie holds everybody together. I think you
Yeah,
need Ernie.
well, I would agree with you, but it's just the reality of the situation. I don't think he can do this for too many more years
Sure.
because you have to imagine the guy's been working at TNT for like 30 years doing inside the NBA,
Good
which
for
is
him.
amazing.
Loyal.
It's not just loyal; it's one of the best jobs ever, I think. You know,
Yeah, I think you and I would both leave our jobs if we had the opportunity to do that.
I think any real basketball fan would, knowing the amount of fun, the hilarity coming from both sides every single day. To your left, you have Charles and Kenny. To the right, you have Shaq, and somewhere over there in Area 51, you have Kevin Garnett with the cuss
21,
button.
21, 21. I mean, he probably is in Area 51 if we're going to be honest, but
That's right. His number is 21. You're right about that. I just consider him such an alien because he was a beast on the court. That's what I was going for.
yeah, still
But
carrying around that cuss button and everything, just everywhere
oh
he
yeah,
goes.
it's not even connected to anything. He's just he's just used to it now. But obviously with All Star Weekend coming up real soon, actually it is this weekend, and we must put some wagers on the line. Being the gambling types that we are going to basically run through every event in All Star Weekend and make our picks. So starting off, I think we should start with the first contest, which is the Skills Challenge. And of course, just to kind of give you guys an idea, in case you don't know, Skills Challenge is a one-on-one race. And on each side of the court, the basketball court, you have this kind of like a maze that the player has to go through. And several things have to be done. You have to make a layup on one side, you have to dribble through this course, you have to make a pass in like a tight area, like inside of a donut hole, or not a donut hole, but like a
Tire.
tire.
Yeah.
Charles would love that. But and so after that pass, you pretty much have to dribble again and then make a 3-point shot to seal the deal. And to me, I don't know about you, but to me, it's always one of those unexpected but super entertaining events
Sure.
because you never know what's going to happen. It's not like it's guard dominated.
It's
you
not.
always you always have, especially in recent years, guys like Karl Anthony Towns, even Kristaps Porzingis winning it all, beating the best and the brightest guards in the NBA. And it's one of those things where like you have to get certain things to hit, right? Like you have to hit the three on the first attempt usually. You have to make the pass within the first two, and you just don't know who's going to do it. So it's a lot of fun. And this particular year, Don, we have 6 very, very interesting participants. And, they like to break this down into like 3 guards slash forwards versus 3 bigs, kind of. And so the guards would be led by the veteran statesman, the elder statesman, rather, Chris Paul. Chris Paul, this might be, I mean, I hate to say it, this might be the last time he's an all star and also participating in the skills challenge. So, being that it's his 5th time in the skills challenge, I hope he does a good job. Then we have Luka Doncic, who is undoubtedly one of the most popular young stars in the NBA, potential MVP caliber player. His team needs to do a little bit better, but he's doing very well. And then Robert Covington is like the other guard slash forward, but correct me if I'm wrong, Don. He plays every position, and I think even ESPN lists him as like guard, forward, center. So
Oh
he's
yeah,
pretty.
yeah. He's one of my favorites. He's a 3-position player, so it's
There you
fantastic.
go. And of course, one of the main reasons that we got Robert Covington, Don, you may not know this, he went to a historical Black university, and basically,
What?
he, yeah, historical Black college,
Okay,
historical Black
okay,
college.
okay.
And so, one of the reasons that the NBA is doing this in Atlanta is to basically, raise some money for the HCB. How do you say it? HBCUs. I think that's what you say the acronym as. And Robert Covington being an alumni from one of those prestigious universities, it's a good show that the NBA is represented by at least a few people from these schools. And I think Robert may be from Tennessee. Don't quote me on that, but he may be from Tennessee. In any case, you do have Robert Covington. You have Julius Randle from the Knicks, who's having a phenomenal season. You have Nikola Vucevic from Orlando, who's also having a great season, but he plays for a crap team,
Hmm.
so we don't really talk about him too much. And finally, one of Don's favorites, Domantas Sabonis, who is
Oh
an
yeah,
absolute beast.
oh yeah.
Absolute beast.
Rising star, rising all star too. Actually, he is an all star. He's a reserve.
He has
Um,
risen. He has
and
risen.
he's going to
Yeah.
continue to rise. And his style of play is very different from his father's. He
Mhm.
came from or played out of Portland and was a bane of the Lakers' existence in the '90s.
Mm.
But Shaq put him in his place, and soon after that, Sabonis went ahead and retired. But Demontis is a nice, refreshing evolution of that last name in today's game. Can't wait.
Yeah, and now I think we might as well make our selection. So the way
Sure.
we're going to do this for the skills challenge, since it is an even field of 6, Dawn and I will each take a turn picking one player until we have 3 players in our
Oh,
roster.
we're not doing Snake.
We will. So it's back and forth, right? So
Got it.
you're
Got it. Got
you're
it.
going to pick one. Oh, you're saying like you pick one, then I pick 2, or you're
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it
I
that
think no.
way.
I think no. Since there's only 6 people,
All
I
right.
I, say-
Okay.
I say no.
Okay.
Let's play straight.
Okay.
So Don, I will be generous here. You can go
Oh.
ahead and pick first.
Well, I got to go with my guy. I just spoke so highly of him, so I'm gonna have to go with Sabonis as my first pick.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go with Chris Paul.
Got it. That's a good choice. Good choice. Good choice. You know what?
Mm.
I'm gonna have to go with my boy, the guy who's been carrying me for the past couple years in fantasy, Luka Doncic.
All right. I'm gonna go with Julius Randle.
Ooh, I did not expect that one. I did not expect that one. But in all these events, there tends to be a dark horse where nobody expects them to win, and they end up blowing it out of the park. So I'm liking
Yeah.
that. I'm liking that. Given that we each have a guard and a center, I think it'd be right for me to round out my roster and pick up a forward, and none other than our boy, Robert Covington.
Oh wow, interesting. I was not expecting that. I was getting ready to type something in our little Google sheet, but yes, I guess I will be going with the Nikola Vucevic, and that rounds out my three. So I got Randall, Chris Paul, and Vucevic, and Don has Covington, Doncic, and Sabonis. Perfect. Now we move on to probably, in my opinion, the most interesting and most competitive and coveted title that anybody can go with for All-Star Weekend. That is a three-point contest winner. Every year we have the best and the brightest three-point shooters
Sure.
come together and shoot the lights out, quite literally, for
Yes.
about a good 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
And here we have some of the best of the best. I mean, we have the legendary Stephen Curry, Devin Booker, who is one of the best scorers in the league. He's a little bit underrated, I would say. You know, he wasn't officially an all-star. He had to be an injury replacement. So he's not getting the credit that he deserves. He's not getting the respect that he deserves. And I think LeBron James is right about that. Jaylen Brown having a phenomenal year, much
Sure.
better than I would ever expect him to have. I didn't think he'd be this good. Zach LaVine, also career-high numbers, excellent season. And finally, you have Donovan Mitchell. I don't have any accolades to share about him, but his team's doing well. Utah's doing very well. So, Don, you know, I'm feeling generous again. I'm gonna let you pick first.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Because I think you and I both have the same number 1 and 2. I'm going with Stephen Curry. Whenever you put the ball in his hand beyond the 3-point line, you got to trust whatever he does with it. So even at this time, even though it's a contest and he'll be having fun, it's actually when he has fun that he shoots the best. And I think he's going to excel yet again and claim the title of the 3-point contest champion.
All right. I gotta go with my guy, Devin Booker.
Good choice. Good choice. I would have gone with him, but low tier. I think we kind of talked about this because there's an odd number here. We're gonna have a dark horse, one that remains unchosen. So for my last pick, I'm gonna go with the quiet killer. That person being Jaylen Brown.
Wow, interesting. You know, I think the choice here is pretty obvious. I'm gonna go with Zach LaVine.
Damn. I think none of us expect Donovan Mitchell to get more than any money ball in. First off,
Well, I don't know. I just never really consider him to be the best spot up shooter.
Sure.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
he might drive just for the hell of it, on that last money ball, just for entertainment purposes. I think that'd be
He
good.
might dunk it in there. He might dunk it in there.
Yeah,
Like, oh, you mean it's not the slam
It's like,
dunk
I
contest?
already won. I'm gonna just get this last point in there.
There you go.
Negative point in. The guys with the point system are still raising their points. Oh, that's a solid 5. What a loser. What a loser.
So
man.
now we move on to the dunk contest, which this particular year, Don, is going to take place during the halftime show.
Sure thing.
So I don't know how that works out because you know how a lot of times they have these ties, right? So do they just keep going and they postpone the second half of the game?
I
Maybe.
think so. I actually hope so. I think it'll be nice, refreshing to have a different kind of halftime show. It'll extend the rest period for our All Stars to really rejuvenate themselves and to honestly enjoy a show while they're sipping on their energy drinks and their Gatorades. So to have this, it's kind of disappointing though when we want to talk about the roster. I think we had expected some bigger names to be a part of it, but given their participation in the All-Star game and this taking place during the halftime show, kind of can't blame them for setting up this roster. But at the same time, I want to. So, you know what? Why don't we let you go ahead and go first for the dunk contest? I think it's pretty much a crapshoot for this one.
Okay. I'm kind of glad you gave me first pick on this one. I'm gonna go with my guy, who I know very well, rookie from the Indiana Pacers, Cassius Stanley.
You know really well, huh?
Hey man, I looked him up today, man.
Hey, you know what?
I called my guy. I talked to my guy just earlier before the show. I was like, hey,
Sure.
that guy, he plays for somebody. Who does he play for? Indiana. Yes. And now you're gonna go with, of course, I know who you're gonna go with.
I gotta go with my guy. This is the one guy that I've been hyping up since the beginning of the year, since he got drafted, even.
Sure.
And he's pretty much kind of let me down softly. I wouldn't say he's having a terrible season, but with the amount of hype I put around him, I expected a bit more, actually a lot more. And I'm hoping he's gonna at least give me my payout that I well deserved this coming weekend. For the dunk contest, the winner is gonna be Obi Toppin.
Okay. Wow. And so, no love for Fernie Simons. We haven't even mentioned him.
Good name, solid name. One hell of a signature, I bet. But no.
What hell of a signature!
Oh, because look at it, man. Like
Yeah.
that double E at the end, and you got that that hidden E in the middle, right after the F. It's a little
The
difficult.
hidden E, my
A little
goodness.
difficult, man. The E and the R. In handwriting, it's almost the same thing. One has a loop, but the other one's almost a loop, but not quite there. It's tough. It's tough.
It is, man. And sadly, we don't know anything about his game, but we know that his handwriting is well tested to write all the signatures.
Watch it be like just one of those lines. It's like that lazy. You see the A in a line, or like a happy face.
Yeah. I wonder, like, at what age do you find that acceptable? You know what I mean? Like, because they teach you early on, but then after a certain point, you gotta be like, you know what? F the system. I'm just gonna do me.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I remember like in high school even, I was trying so hard to create my own signature. And little did I know, just after time, like you get a D with a solid line after that, or a scribble, and then you get a solid B followed by some additional scribbles with a Y at the end. So,
Yeah.
There
you go. You mastered life early, my friend. I like it. I like it. So now we go to the main event. Of course, we're talking about the creme de la creme of NBA action. This is the All-Star Game taking place in Atlanta, and we have team captains. To no surprise, Kevin Durant on the Eastern Conference, and in the West, I believe the team captain is LeBron James. And so this makes it kind of interesting because KD, we know for a fact, is not going to play in the All-Star game. But Don, I don't think we know yet who his teammates are. Do we? Like, did he pick his teammates already?
Well, I think what happened was, aren't the starters automatically set? Actually, let's do a quick little look up.
I think they switched it up a little bit. I know initially that's what I was thinking, right? It would just be East versus West straight up. But I read somewhere, and please correct me if I'm mistaken, I read somewhere that maybe the team captain still does the draft. So, yeah. So I don't know what that means here. Like, does KD do the draft and say, all right, guys, win it for me? Or does he have to defer to, like, the next highest vote getter, like Giannis, so he gets to run it back? It's kind of hard to say.
I have no idea how that's going to work. So all we know really is LeBron James is playing in the West.
That's the fact. Yes.
Right? Like, because Kevin Durant's injured, so he'll basically be serving as cheerleader.
I don't think he's showing up, man. I don't think he's going.
No, he will. He'll just sit on the bench and mean mug everybody.
And just tweet people from his burner.
Yeah, he might just pick his boys, Kyrie and Harden, up front, and then initiate Harden as a starter for the hell of it. So we'll see.
We'll see. I think I liked what we were discussing before. I think we should probably pick two. Doesn't have to be one from the East, one from the West.
Yeah.
Any two players you want. And I will let you go first.
Interesting. I think what I'm going to do may blow your mind here, but I think my pick, and we're going for MVP, or we're going for East versus West winner?
Let's do both. So let's start off with well, okay, here's the thing. I think it's difficult to do East versus West winner, but unless you want to just say Team LeBron versus whoever the other team is.
No, that's a blind bet. That's a blind bet.
I like blind bets, though.
All right, you know what? I'm going with Team LeBron. I'm not going to stray away and feign loyalty to my Lakers. So LeBron James is going to be my pick, meaning I think the Western Conference Team LeBron, will take the W.
Okay, I guess I don't really have a say on that one.
Yeah.
All right, now go ahead and pick your MVPs.
Ooh, you want me to go first? You sure you don't want to go first?
You can go first.
All right. Well, I gotta go with my boy Zion.
You sure about that?
I'm very sure about that.
You sure he's gonna play?
He may not, but I feel that out of these players, I think Zion will have the most highlights.
Maybe. Okay.
I said we go with 3 people, by the way, not 2.
All right, yeah, I'm rolling with that. I think there's a lot of options here.
Yeah. By the way,
I'll let
Anthony Davis is out, so make sure not to pick him.
That's right.
And Kevin
Right.
Durant is out.
And Katie, you're right. Okay, I guess. Huh. All-star. Man, this is tough. This is really tough.
I'm going for excitement. I want someone to just excel at what they do. I think we're in a nice transitionary phase where we know who the Kings are, but the up and comers are slowly creeping up. So I'm hoping for a good show.
Yeah, I mean, I look back at previous years when the games were close. I remember one of the teams was always going inside to Embiid, and Embiid was kind of like the chosen one in the fourth quarter for some reason.
For sure.
But I feel like he's not going to play too much. See, this is the thing. This year in particular, it's difficult because you've heard a lot of players like Giannis, like LeBron, basically say, I'm not really with the All-Star game this year. Like, I'm not feeling it. It's an honor to be selected, sure, but my heart's not into it. And whenever you hear that phrase, my heart's not into it, it makes you think, you know what? They're probably not going to get MVP. It's just not happening. So I'm jealous of your pick, Zion. I think that's a very interesting.
Hey, you were just talking smack about it. Are you sure? Are you serious?
That was a genuine curiosity.
I mean, all the things you said are what I'm thinking about because, I mean, it's still going to have that 24-point rule where, the score is set and then a certain team has to meet a certain criteria that's Kobe related, which is a fantastic rule, I think. I think it made it super competitive at the end of last year's and made it worthwhile to watch. But as you brought up, it's still COVID out there. And, they're not Texas opening up everything. So I would err on the side of caution saying the All-Stars of the All-Stars will likely not play as much or not play as hard, especially considering the condensed season that they're already in and especially the age of their legs. The All-Stars of the All-Stars, some of them are getting up there in age and may not want to risk too much soreness from a celebration rather than the season itself, where every win counts.
I hear you. But with that being said, I think there's still certain players that may want to outshine the others.
Sure.
For my first pick, I know this is risky because there's a chance he may not play. But for my first pick, I'm going to go with Luka.
Solid pick. As much as I like Luka, I think that when you put him in an All-Star game, I don't think he shines as much. I think he's great. He's going to have some great passes, but there are other passes or passers that are a little more flashy than him. His shooting, of course, isn't as great, so I don't expect him to shoot the lights out as some other players here will.
Okay.
Speaking of shooting, I think what I want to happen is I want my second choice to excel in 2 contests. One being the game itself, the All-Star game, and one being the 3-point contest.
Stephen Curry, huh?
I got to go with Stephen Curry. I think Stephen Curry is going to have some shake and bake moments that are truly going to be highlight reel material. And he's been having a fantastic season. I think he is the sole representative. Well, not really. He is the representative of Golden State alongside. Is Covington still there? No, where's Covington playing now?
Covington plays for the Blazers.
Yeah. Well, so being the only Golden State Warrior there, he's going to shoot the lights out. And I like his swag. I think his personality fits the All-Star game. I don't think he takes anything too seriously, and he's gonna shine in a very entertaining way, which is very important for the All-Star game. So my choice is Stephen Curry.
I respect your choice. I just think, from what I remember, the guys try to do a good job to shut down Steph Curry. Like, they don't want him to go off for like 43s. So I just remember, like, they would put like all these top defenders on him and really make him like dribble the ball at half court and pass it out to somebody.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But that's what makes it exciting, right? Because
Absolutely.
if he doesn't pass it, when he gets through them, you hear the oohs and the ahs, and even like the benches are like, oh, it's those moments that I'm hoping for.
I agree with you, 100%, 100%. So, we've been focusing primarily on the Western Conference here. I feel kind of bad.
Don't feel bad.
Well, since I'm rooting for the East now by default, I feel like I should be picking an East star to root for. Now, this is interesting. I think because we've been talking about Brooklyn pretty much all season long, right? Ever since Harden joined them, it's become the team to beat in the Eastern Conference.
Sure.
Right now, they only have 2 active representatives in Kyrie Irving and Harden.
Sure.
I must imagine that the coach will be running those 2 together for some good stretches. And typically what happens is Kyrie's the scorer and Harden does the facilitating. So Harden, being in his natural point guard position, surrounded by the best of the best in the East, I think this is an exceptional spot for him to win the MVP. I think if he plays his cards right, gets at least 28, maybe 30 minutes, he could become a triple-double monster. So my pick for now is James Harden.
Good pick. I would be surprised if you pick Kyrie. I'd be like, hey, are you sipping one? Like, what's going on here? Because your hate for the guy. Uncle Drew.
I have something to say about that, though.
What's up?
I actually have a lot of respect for Kyrie. You might be surprised by this, but I remember catching some highlights of his the other day. I think it was over the weekend, and man, that kid is good. Like, he is really, really good. I think the part that frustrated me was the fact that he's so injury prone.
Yeah.
I think I would have appreciated him more if he was available for more than 40 games per year.
Sure.
But even in those 40 games, man, he is phenomenal. Like, his handle, the way that he can finish without dunking, like, he's probably one of the best, if not the best, finishers at the rim that doesn't dunk. The way that he carves up everybody, it's almost it's like a Derrick Rose, but different. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say he's a slippery version of Primetime Rose. I think his handle is head over heels better than Rose's, which isn't to say Rose has bad handles. He had fantastic handles when he wasn't hurt. But Rose had more of an aggressive, I'm coming at you style. I don't think Kyrie has that, and rightfully so. He doesn't need it with his style of gameplay.
Sure.
That's why I like Kyrie. But I don't like him too much or that much to make him my third pick. I think this guy is coming in to the All-Star game with a slight chip on his shoulder. He wanted the win last year. He wanted it so badly. He tried willing his team to the win, even with Embiid getting the ball from time to time, more so than often, given who the starters were and Embiid being the biggest guy there. My third pick is going to be your guy, Giannis.
I'm salty about that.
You were saving him, weren't you?
I was thinking, okay, he's going to pick Zion for sure. He's going to fuck up this one. No, you picked a solid pick. And to be honest with you, even though Giannis has said publicly he's not really into this year's All-Star game, I feel like the fiery competitor within it.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
You put a basketball in his hand, he turns Super Saiyan 4 instantaneously. That's what happens.
That is true. So now that we have the major players off the board, the question becomes, who will I pick for my last MVP pick? That is a tough one.
Well, you got to go with your boy, Devin Booker, no?
Well, see, the reason why I'm hesitant to do that here is because he was an injury replacement, right? And I find it difficult to believe that as an injury replacement, he will be rewarded with more minutes than some of the other guys.
Sure.
But that's just my thinking there. I think Chris Paul, as much as I like him, and I feel like this may be his final All-Star season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's actually that could be a surprise pick. Do I dare double up on Chris Paul?
Before you do that, I think what's
Yeah.
going to happen is once
Uh-huh.
Chris Paul reaches age, similar to what happened with Wade and Kobe, they're going to have one of those all-star weekends where they pay homage to those kinds of players of those calibers, and they give them a spot on the roster, similar to what happened with Wade and Kobe. So
No, Kobe won. Kobe got the spot because he got the votes.
well, sure, and you don't think that's going to happen anyways with Chris Paul when he announces his retirement season?
Not at all. Chris Paul wouldn't even be voted like top 5.
I don't think you have faith in the NBA in general or NBA fans. I think they would.
I think you overestimate how much people like Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul is not the same caliber as a Dwayne Wade or Kobe, in terms of like how fans appreciate them. And for that matter, how was Dwayne Wade voted in his last year in the NBA? I don't think he was an All-Star his final season, was he?
Yeah, he was.
As like an injury replacement.
Was he?
Well, I don't know because he definitely wasn't a starter. I mean,
that's for sure. I mean, he was running on like that last. He was running on fumes at that point.
Exactly. So then, really, at that point, he's not voted in by the fans at all. The fans have nothing to do with this.
Well, and then I think they usher him in somehow. They kind of slip him in like, hey, it's your last season. Thank you for all.
Oh, you know what you're talking about. Okay, I think I know. So what Don is talking about here is how they brought in Dirk Nowitzki and Dwayne Wade.
There we go.
As honorary All-Stars.
Yeah,
I think that's
yes. And Dirk that game actually had some solid shots. Like all of us were like, "Oh shit, he still got it," and they were like guarding him. They weren't trying to like just give it to him. They were legitimately playing against him. You know, Dirk with that 90-degree shot, like just raining on everyone.
Absolutely right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually throw you a curveball here. I'm going to go with the guy who a lot of people are saying should be an MVP this year, but I don't think he will win the MVP of the league.
Got it. Julius Randle.
But he may win MVP of the All-Star game. So I'm going to go with Joel Embiid.
Solid choice. Solid choice. I think that rounds out what we'll need for... Unless you want to go 4. I think 3 is more than enough, right?
I think 3 is plenty. 3 is plenty. I mean, there's a good chance though that none of us will get it. I mean,
sure.
All-Star games are kind of tough to predict in any case, but I think that kind of rounds out everything over there. We covered the skills challenge, the dunk contest, which is going to be at halftime this year, 3-point contest, which should be a lot of fun. It's always fun every season, and finally the West versus East, and who knows who the teams will be. I think that's kind of a toss-up there, but we hope the loyal audience of the SoCal DNA has enjoyed our little pre-All-Star special that we have going on here. And given the fact that the All-Star game is Sunday night, we hope that everybody tunes in and watches all of my players sweep Don. I think that's pretty much bound to happen. Wouldn't you say, Don?
No.
Well, until next time, my friends, have a great All-Star weekend, and we will see you on the Flippity Flip.
French fries, sunrise, evangelize. Can you think of any other words there, Brian?
I'm thinking of red dresses. I'm thinking of fertility. Try to rhyme something with fertility. How about that?
With that, everyone, have a good night.